We gonna talk about Chase Young to the 49ers. He is happy camper. The Chargers get a big dub. We gonna talk about Josh Dobbs and C.J. Stroud. Those guys are hot. Stock up or stock down for the Cardinals and the Patriots. And boy, you stupid. We gonna finish some statements today. You guys post a comment in the statement in the comments. Bada bing, bada boom. We'll finish it for you. But first. And now, Mike's thoughts. Chase Young has come out and said that he is very happy about being traded to the San Francisco 49ers. He is very happy that he has had the opportunity to go out and play with a good team like the San Francisco 49ers, an organization. Well, people are like, oh, yay, he didn't like in Washington. He was just half-assing it, yada, yada, yada. Well, pause. Pause 1 second there, all you conspiracy theorists, all you people want to look so much into everything for no solid reason whatsoever. Of course, Chase Young is going to say that he is happy. Why would you say that you're not happy being traded to a Super Bowl contender? Why are you not going to say you're not happy when you're being traded to a team, to an organization like the San Francisco 49ers? Why are you going to say that you're not happy? Like, what is that going to do? Like, oh, they're going to be like, they're going to trade you back to Washington. They're going to trade you to the Philadelphia Eagles or something. Like, no. Like, they traded you because you wanted you, right? They wanted you there. They wanted you to help their team. So what kind of thoughts, what kind of processes were you guys looking for Chase Young? What were you hoping to gain from this conversation? Were you hoping to say, oh, I hate the 49ers. I hate everything they stand for. I hate this. I hate that. I hate that. Like, what? Come on, man. Like, slow it down, baby. Slow it down. Chase Young, the 49ers was a great deal for everybody. It is. Cue that intro.
You know on the beat every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that thing. While I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Stripes like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches, won't cut short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzz beaters. We coming live, all 3 speakers go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckasher here with the Man Hour. Head over to manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page or check out the blog section as well. We are playing our flu game week this week, so if you have the flu, join in and let's see how long I can go without coughing, because it'll be I'm pretty sure you're going to take the under it. It's going to be like about 6 seconds, so good luck with that. See? Told you. Should have took the under. But we got some people jumping in the chat here. We got Hanauer Hoffy in the chat. He is the man behind the Man Hour chat today. He says, how did everybody do with their picks this weekend? Let us know. Did you guys do some good picks? Guess what, guys? We're going to have a little we're going to have a little competition. So earlier this season, we were kind of tinkering with, hey, win $100 if you bet $1 if you get the most picks right. I think we gave around $500 or $600 away. I didn't do it week 7. Didn't do it this week either because I was definitely sick. I didn't have time to set it all up. But this week and this week moving forward, you are going to have a chance to pick against us. So you have a chance to win some Man Hour merchandise. We got Haters Make You Famous. We got the Man Hour hoodies, hats, t-shirts, beanies, whatever you want. Any type of Man Hour gear that you guys could possibly want. All you got to do is register. We will put out a link there, and you get a chance to pick against myself and Hoffy. If you beat myself and Hoffy in your picks, bada bing, bada boom, we'll give you a t-shirt. We'll give you a hoodie. We'll give you a beanie. We'll give you a hat. We'll give you anything you want off of the merchandise page. Anything you want. It is that simple, that cut and dry. No entry fee, no sharing the post or anything. It's just simply like, hey, here are my picks. We'll put them up there, bada bing, bada boom, like we're doing with the game threads, and we'll see who wins. Jim says you don't want that smoke. Jim, I've been seeing your picks. I want that smoke. I want all of that smoke, and twice on Sunday, baby. Give it to me. But we do got Jim Powell in the chat. He says, what's up? What is up, Jim? What is up? Well, hope you're having a grand old day. What is today? Today's Tuesday, November 7th, guys. I hope you guys are having a grand old day. Let me ask you guys this question. Do we celebrate Thanksgiving anymore? Because I feel like here in the Buckheister household, we went from Halloween on Tuesday, right? On Wednesday, my wife's like, take down Hilda, take down all the Halloween stuff, throw it in the garage, and I want the Christmas stuff in the house. Like, what? She wants all of her. So first of all, we have like 12 Christmas trees. It was just like, whatever. It's just excessive. I think one is good enough, but we have all the Christmas stuff set up in the Buckheister household. Then my sister-in-law sent me a snap like, hey, look, our Christmas tree's up too, yada, yada. I'm like, what? Are we forgetting about Thanksgiving? Is Thanksgiving even a holiday anymore? Are people even closed for Thanksgiving anymore? We just went from Halloween to Christmas. They're like, F Thanksgiving. Get that out of here. Jim says he's driving to Michigan. My Penn Stateness is flaring up. Are you driving through Pennsylvania to go to Michigan? I thought you were in Kentucky. That seems kind of like a weird trip. Kind of like, what are you doing? Like, trying to avoid Indiana? Are you really scared of that smoke, Jim? Are you really scared of that smoke? Dave is in the chat, said the Chargers. The defense stepped up last night. Guys, it's a perfect opportunity to talk about the Los Angeles Chargers last night, guys. The Los Angeles Chargers did beat the New York Football Jets last night. They beat them, and it was just a very ugly game up and down the field. 27-6, right? The Jets never really got it, like, emotionally going. It seemed like they were just kind of going through the motions on offense all game long. The Chargers, they found a way to win. They did find a way to win. It was a very, very ugly win. And they said, let's keep it simple. The Jets are being crappy. Let's score 27 points. And let's just go for 191 yards. Austin Eckler had 47 yards on 14 carries. Justin Herbert, and then Keenan Allen had 77 yards receiving. It was just an offensive, anemic performance on both sides of the ball. The whole highlight of the night was that Keenan Allen catch. First of all, I've heard Justin Herbert is the most accurate passer in the league, right? He can hit a toothpick on the top of the goalpost and standing backwards with one eye shut, right? He overthrew Keenan Allen so freaking bad. Keenan Allen had to dive, do a pirouette, catch it, throw it between his legs, and then bring it back in. Like, it was an amazing catch. I'm not taking anything away from Keenan Allen whatsoever. But if Justin Herbert would just put it on him, just put it on him, he probably would have scored. He was so wide open on that play. But the Chargers, they won last night. It was an ugly win, but they won. They won. We got to give credit where credit is due. So with that being said, with the Chargers winning, and I believe they improved to 4-4 now, right, on the season. Yeah, they're 4-4 now on the season. Are they a playoff conversation team? Are they a playoff team? When we sit back and we look at the Chargers, every year it seems like what if the Chargers wouldn't have got injured? What if the Chargers had a little better head coach? What if they would have won this game? What if they would have got hot at the right time? Like, what if? And it is very repetitive about the Chargers is what if. And right now, guess what? We're going to talk about the Chargers again as a what if thing. Like, what if they can get hot? What if they can stay healthy? What if they can muster up more than 200 yards offense? Like their schedule moving forward is not very favorable. Let's just be honest. They're playing the Lions. They play the Packers at Lambeau. Packers are suspect. Like we don't know what's going on with the Packers, but that is a 1 o'clock game. And then they play the Ravens, Patriots, Broncos, Ravens, Bills, Broncos, Chiefs. So in theory, they'll probably be favored in 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 games. 4 games. That is favored, I think. To probably get into the AFC and the playoffs as a wild card, you're going to probably need 10 wins. Can they pull an upset versus the Bills? Can they pull an upset versus the Ravens or the Lions or the Chiefs? They could. They could. Will they? No, they will not. The Chargers guys are not a playoff team. Unless a 9 or 8 win team makes it into the AFC playoffs, which I don't see that happening whatsoever, they are not a playoff team. They have everything on paper. Keenan Allen, a 10,000-yard receiver, right? Broke that mark last night. They have a great defense, Mack and Bosa. They have a decent running game with Akers. But for whatever reason, they just cannot put it together, and I don't know why. Guys, let me know in the comments below. Why do you not think that the Chargers can ever put it together? Jim says, why? The Jets are not good. It's like picking on a special ed kid on a school bus. Listen, the Jets are not a bad team. Their defense is very, very capable of shutting it down night after night after night. Their defense is very capable of leading them to the championship like the 2000 Baltimore Ravens or the 85 Bears. Their defense is very capable. It's just right now their offense is what? We see Laura is in the chat. She says, good morning. Skull Nation. Skull. How does it feel to have a rocket scientist as a quarterback? Laura. I mean, obviously NFL is no rocket science, so obviously he can grasp that ick factor, right, for him. It is. So good morning to you, Laura. Glad you are joining us today. I'm always glad to see some familiar new faces, and always glad to see the OGs in here. John, Jim, Arthur, Alpha Rob, etc. Glad you guys are in here. Jim says only one team from the West is going to the postseason, and I would love it if it was the Las Vegas Raiders, but the Chargers are not him. So I saw the interview with Max Crosby, I believe it's on the Pat McAfee show yesterday. And basically they said they felt freed after Josh McDaniels left, right? That is why they were smoking the cigars. That's why they were doing the soul dance, right? They were having fun playing football again. Jim, I think yesterday you said it best. It was a quote, a new team, a new regime in there. And Antonio Pierce seemed to be definitely an alpha male out there, right? He was definitely taking control of the team and like, hey, this is the way we're going to do it, yada, yada. And they had fun. But we said it, Jim, the Raiders have the hardest schedule moving forward. They do not have any of those cupcake wins, like, moving forward. Like, they don't have, they have the Broncos on the schedule, but they don't have, like, the Jets or the Giants on the schedule or the Cardinals. They play, sorry about that, guys. They play some really competitive games moving forward. They play the Chargers. They play the Chiefs. They play, what was it? Don't they play the Buffalo Bills coming up as well? It's like a Monday night game or something. Let me pull up their schedule and look here. Like they play the Dolphins and the Vikings and the Colts. I mean, their schedule is not very favorable. So right now the Raiders are sitting at 4-5. They're going to need realistically 6 wins to make it into the playoffs. Broncos, I'll give you that dub. I'll give you the Colts dub. But then after that, there are no really gimme games. I mean, you can say the Jets game will be a dub. Sunday Night Football. How did the Raiders and Jets get Sunday Night Football? I guess it'd be a Devontae Adams versus Aaron Rodgers game. But the Dolphins, no slouch. The Chiefs, no slouch. The Vikings, no slouch, as we've seen, right? The Vikings are coming back. The Chargers, and you play the Chiefs again. So, Jim, I do like what you guys are doing. I just don't see it. I don't see them. I want them to win, but for obvious reasons, but they ain't him either. John says, "Good morning, Raiders hater." I'm not a Raiders hater. I'm just a Chiefs fan. But yeah, sometimes my fandom does come out a little bit, and I do hate on the Raiders a little bit. But who was it that said it? Was it Colin Cowherd? I think it was. I think I was flipping through his show when I was heading to work, and he says when the Raiders win, or when the Raiders are good, the NFL is a very powerful product. What do you guys think about that? When the Raiders are successful, is the NFL a better product? I don't know. Laura says, I'm enjoying some Josh Dobbs, to be honest. She loves her some Josh Dobbs. There we go. Sunday was a worry game for us, says Laura. Me after the injury to Cousins, but I am pleased with the W. Does work need to be done? Absolutely. But he was a few days in with the team and managed to pull off the W. Wait and see what he is. Wait and see what he is here from here on out. Listen, this was on the schedule for yesterday, but obviously I had to cut the show short because I'm obviously not 100%. My voice is just like woo, right? Puberty called. But Josh Dobbs is going to find himself kind of like a Geno Smith. When I say Geno Smith, is like he is going to find a home and he's going to be a backup for 2, 3, 4 years, right? And then all of a sudden, that leader of the pack, let's say it is the Vikings, right? Let's say Josh Dobbs signs with the Vikings for 5 years. Let's say they sign Kirk Cousins for a 3-year extension. I think Kirk Cousins will be staying with the Minnesota Vikings moving forward. Let's say that after that 3 years, Kirk Cousins retires or goes off into the sunset to some other team. At that point in time, Josh Dobbs is going to come in and take over, and we are going to forget about him. Like, oh, he's still in the league. That's weird. And then all of a sudden, whoa, MVP Josh Dobbs, right? Like, I could see that from Josh Dobbs. I could see him finding a home and being a nice backup for 3, 4, 5, 6 years, and then coming in and taking the league by storm. I can see it. So, Laura, hopefully for you, it is your Vikings. Hopefully for, somebody out there, they understand what he brings to a team. Listen, every place he has gone, it's been Arizona, Tennessee Titans, and the Cleveland Browns, right? I think he was a Pittsburgh Steelers. I think he got drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers too. So he's been on 4 teams, and he has won at every stop. He has won a game. I mean, he hasn't been like a champion by any means, but he has been a winner at every stop. And when you do that, you are going to find a home. Geno Smith wasn't a winner at all, but he was a competitor. Then he went to, was it San Francisco? I think it was. He went to San Francisco, and then I'm pretty sure it was San Francisco. And then he went to Seattle, find himself a home, nice little backup, bada bing, bada boom. It is what it is. So it is what it is. Jim, we all know the Chiefs, but a fella can dream. You're right, Jim. The Chiefs are making the playoffs. But it would not surprise me if the Raiders didn't make the playoffs. Hell, I think, what was it, Combsy? Combsy actually had the Raiders winning the West this season, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, the Raiders are good on paper. They have a nice little receiver core. They got Hunter Renfrow. They got, obviously, DeAndre Hopkins. Who was that tight end that they just picked up? Was it Jonnu? I can't remember the tight end. But Adrian O'Connell was looking good. No turnovers, no sacks last week. Josh Jacobs, as you said, Jim, in the game, game thread, he looked expired. He looked like an expired running back again. Michael Mayer, thank you. I didn't see who the name was. David, thank you for that. Michael Mayer is the tight end, the rookie. I saw a lot of Michael Myers memes with that. And then on the defensive side of the ball, they got Max Crosby. They got Marcus Peters. They are a really, really good team. It's the Raiders' curse, right? It's the Raiders' curse. XD Gamers in the chat. What is up, XD Gamer? Man, how was your bye week? I always hate bye weeks because, I feel like, what do I do with my hands? And then I see the honey-do list is 13 things long. I'm like, I'm a fan of the Seahawks this week. But XD Gamer, welcome to the chat, man. Glad you're having a grand old day. Enjoy school. I don't know if you're a high school, college student, man, but do well in school. Just make sure you have a direction in life, man. Don't go to college with I'm just there to play football like I did. And granted, it got me to where I'm in now, I guess, but I didn't have any direction, have $80,000 in student loan debt that I don't even have a degree. I have a degree, but I don't even use it. It's just whatever. It is what it is. It is what it is. John says, then why does it take so long for the Raiders greats to get into the Hall of Fame with names of Jim Puckett, first wild card team to win a Super Bowl in the Hall of Haters, the Raiders? Listen, I believe, who was the commissioner before Roger Goodell? Didn't the commissioner and Al Davis have a huge falling out? They were just because Al Davis wanted to move to Vegas years ago, right? Back in the 90s or hell, the 80s, I think it was. And the commissioners are like, oh, no, that isn't going to happen. He wanted to bring the LA party scene, like the LA Lakers, like the Showtime Lakers, right? He had that vision to do it in Vegas with the NFL, and the commissioner's like, oh, no, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. And ever since then, I think the Raiders won that one Super Bowl, and then since then they have been nixed with everything. They're when they start to do good, the NFL leaks emails between John Gruden and the Dan Snyder. It got leaked, right? Basically, AKA, where you're doing too good. Let me cut your legs out. I don't know. It is what it is. It is what it is. David, what's up, man? What's up? He says, if we beat the Lions, then my Chargers will have turned the corner, and they will be the team that we should be. David, I don't think the Chargers are up to the measuring stick of the Detroit Lions yet. I just want to point that out there right now. I don't think that the Chargers are up there with the Detroit Lions yet. Now, if you somehow beat them, sure, maybe. I'm not for sure what's going to happen, but it is what it is. It is what it is. David's in the chat. He says Dobbs is a good backup QB. I don't think the Vikings make the playoffs, but definitely fun to watch. Listen, if the Lions fall off at all, right? If the Lions fall off at all, the Minnesota Vikings have a very favorable schedule moving forward. Let me pull up their schedule for you if I could focus here. The Vikings have a very favorable. Right now, they're 5-4. They play the Saints. The Saints are suspect. The Saints are very, very suspect right now. We don't know whether they're coming or going, and hell, we don't even know what time it is in New Orleans half the time. And then they play the Broncos and Bears, wins, and then they play the Raiders. This will be a true measuring stick game, right? If they can beat the Raiders, hell, that's 4. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wins in a row. 8 wins in a row. You are sitting at about 9 wins at this point, and then you play the Bengals, Lions, Packers, Lions to end the season. You get one of those wins, the Vikings could sneak into the playoffs. The Vikings could fuck around and get into the playoffs. Hoffy, what are the chances that the Vikings make the playoffs this season in your eyes?
2%. I don't think it's going to happen.
You don't think it's going to happen? They have a very favorable schedule. They play the Packers, Raiders, Bears, Broncos, Saints moving forward. They're sitting at 5 wins. I think 9 wins in the NFC gets you in the playoffs.
I mean, you're not going to have any wild card from the NFC South because whoever wins that is probably going to be 9-8. So you got to look at, I mean, the Seahawks, 49ers, that's probably one of those teams is going to take up one of those 3 wild card spots. The Cowboys. So yeah, I mean, now that I look at it some more, yeah, the like you said, they might fuck around and find that 7 seed.
Yeah.
Because I think that's kind of going to be, that might be a 9-8 team, or it might be a, what was it? The year that the Cardinals went to the Super Bowl or whatnot, that they had a losing record and they were like the 7th or the 6th seed at the time because they only did 6 seeds. Yeah, I could see the Vikings getting into playoffs, but I don't see them winning in the playoffs at all.
I'm not saying they're going to make noise by any means, but how their season started, what they were 0-3, 0-4, right, to start the season, and then you barely scraped past the Panthers, and you could have had an 0-5 start. Like, didn't you win four games in a row? 4 games in a row.
They started 0-3.
Yeah.
They won 1, they lost 1, and then they've won 4 in a row. So they're 5-4 right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that would have them. I think technically, I think they're in the playoffs as of right now if the season was to end today.
With us in that 5-4, without their starting quarterback and the third string quarterback that they just traded for last Tuesday. So think about that.
And their halfback in Akers is done for the season too.
Yeah, with an Achilles injuries. We'll get into that till later. I do want to pull this up here. David says Paul Tagliabue was the commissioner before Roger Goodell. That is correct. The name is definitely ringing a bell. But the name that I was referring to was Pete Rozelle. I think he is the one that was the had the issue with Al Davis. I can't remember what Netflix special I watched, but it was like a Raiders dynasty Netflix special, and it may have been the Madden, the Madden thing when John Madden died a couple years ago. I think that's when it was brought up. But Tyler Helton is in the chat here. He says, yo, Kansas City Chiefs beat the Miami Dolphin. Actually, it says Miami Dolphin. Yeah, the Chiefs pulled it out. Chiefs did pull it out. But, Hoffy, I want to get into a segment here where I like to say who is hot and who is not. Are you ready to dive into some who is hot and who is not?
Besides me?
Well, besides you, I told you what I want to do to your face before the show. But let's get into some. Let's get into some who is hot and who is not. Right now, guys, CJ Stroud is hot. CJ Stroud is hot. He's the rookie quarterback for the Houston Texans. He's been making waves in the NFL this season. After a strong start to the season, he has gone a little quiet in the last recent weeks, but he came out in a big way in a thrilling win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was unstoppable on that final drive. Not only did he lead his team to victory 39-37 over the Buccaneers, he set a rookie record for 470 yards and 5 touchdowns to no interceptions. Guys, is CJ Stroud going to get the Rookie of the Year? Absolutely. Hoffy, is there any other rookie out there that is putting up any type of name notoriety like CJ Stroud is?
No, that thought just popped in my head about 5 minutes before we even got to the segment. I was trying to come up with something, and I can't. You had the rookie running back out of Miami, but injuries have kind of plagued him.
Yeah.
Since then, I can't think of any other rookie. So no, I think he is the clear cut favorite. And the other thing too is his rushing, or the team is rushing. They've only got 776 yards, so like they're 26th in rushing. So the fact that he's still putting up these numbers passing when he doesn't have a running game to complement his passing game is even more impressive.
Yeah, and XD Gamer says Buck, CJ Stroud is not winning Rookie of the Year. Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Who's winning it then, XD Gamer?
Yeah, who is going to win it, right?
He's just hating on anyone but the Jags in that AFC South.
Next up
but
is
one thing I do want to add, though, is you have the Jaguars. They seem to kind of be figuring it out. You do have the Texans and CJ Stroud. I think once, give them a year or two, put some talent around him, they're going to be pretty decent. Will Levis is looking like the real deal. If the Colts figure it out, I mean, that division could be a division to watch, moving forward with all those teams having their quarterback situation possibly figured out and some good talent there. So that could, the AFC North for many years has kind of been that division that's like, must watch games no matter who it is, division opponents. But I think that AFC South is going to be pretty competitive here in the next year or so. So XD Gamers Jaguars need to take advantage this year, because it's going to be a wide open, moving forward.
So he did bring up a name in Pakuka Nakuka. I think I'm saying his name right. He did have a solid first 3 weeks. He's been kind of,
he leads the league in drops.
Yeah.
He's got the most catches. He's got the most targets. He's also got the most drops.
And he's hurt now too, so he's day to day if he's not out for a little, right?
Stick to whatever degree that you're trying to accomplish in college, dude, because sports ain't it.
All right. John says his final drive was epic, Ken Stabler like. I would think it more like Tom Brady like, but I mean those shows are different ages there, right? Ken Stabler was from what, the 60s, Hoffy? 70s?
Yeah.
A little bit before my time. About double my lifetime. David says, yes, he is, and Bryce Young is a bust. And when I'm watching the draft, I thought for sure the Panthers were going to pick CJ, but instead went with Bryce Young. Ouch. Yeah. But listen, Bryce Young got the last laugh right when they went head-to-head. So, I mean, I guess, do you want to be better head-to-head or better overall? I don't know. And then Jim says, if Riggs, the running back, plays the whole season, he is the champ. But he has to wait his turn. I don't know who Riggs is for. I don't know who Riggs is. The only thing I could think of is, I think you mean Gibbs, Jamar Gibbs for the Lions. That's the only thing I can think of. I don't know who any Riggs is.
I mean, we talk, I can't even say the dude's name from the Rams, but how about and I think this guy has more potential now that his running mate is out of the lineup for the rest of the year. I do think that having Cousins would help him, but how about Jordan Addison?
Oh yeah, true. I forget he's a rookie. Yeah, I forget he's a rookie.
And you have Robinson, the running back from the Falcons, but just I think with what CJ Stroud has done, especially at the beginning of the year with the no interceptions, but I'm gonna say it's CJ Stroud, Jordan Addison, and Robinson from the Falcons are probably your three. But I think right now it's a clear cut favorite in CJ Stroud.
Yeah, and let's just be honest.
Zay Flowers too from the Ravens, but I don't.
Let's just be honest. The NFL wants that new hot young quarterback face.
Yeah,
CJ Stroud is like it, and definitely going to put some respect on his name. But guys, let's get into some way or no way, overreaction. I'm sorry. It's time to overreact. It is not Monday. It is time to overreact. It is to panic. Do we need to be panic or be patient? Slow it down, baby. That's not going to happen today, Hafi. Maybe you can pick that up. Give me your best slow it down, baby.
Slow it down.
That's about a 6 out of 5, 6 out of 10. But it is what it is. Yeah. And Jim says it is Gibbs. Jamar Gibbs is doing good things in Detroit. But Daniel Jones, Hoffy, tears his ACL. Did the Giants make a mistake by signing him to a long-term deal? Do we need to be panic about that, or do we need to be patient? So when we look at the New York Football Giants, they made a mistake, I think, by signing Daniel Jones to this big, lucrative deal. But let's just be honest. In the NFL, if your quarterbacks are not getting the next biggest deal, you are looking for a new quarterback. So the Giants didn't want to go in complete rebuild mode and be looking for a new quarterback. They have a nice little core together. This year's just not putting together. So they need to be patient, Hoffy. They need to be patient, and they need to understand that Daniel Jones is just having an off season, having an off year. Everybody has it. It just happens at the quarterback level. We put a microscope on it, and we start like, man, you got a big $90 million deal, and now all of a sudden you're getting hurt. You have a neck issue. You tore your ACL. It's just like, what is going on? But the Giants just need to slow it down. They need to be patient. They need to not rush Daniel Jones back. Let him be ready by week 3, week 4, week 5 of next season, and they'll be just fine. Hoffy, do you think the Giants made a mistake by giving Daniel Jones that long-term deal? Did they panic when his contract came up?
I mean, they definitely overpaid for him, but when, like you said, I mean, that's how it is nowadays. I mean, that is the going rate for a quarterback. So, I mean, I do think that I would rather not pay him, but then, like you said, you're in complete rebuild mode. He did show some promise last year. He definitely took a step back this year. I think he had, he's already got 8 interceptions this year. That surpassed what he had last year. He only had 4 touchdowns before he got injured. QBR rating was 70% this year. He's his career average is around 85. But he shows flashes. I mean, I think he is a much better version. People are going to get pissed at me. A much better mobile version of Josh Allen in the fact that he doesn't turn the ball over. He runs. I think what they really need to do, though, is put some talent around him at the receiving. He's got a Saquon Barkley. They did bring in Waller. I think he's kind of been, he's been a little bit of a disappointment this year over what he was with the Raiders. I think, give them some time. They'll figure out that chemistry. But I think he needs a true number one receiver that, will allow him to, progress. But I think they overpaid for him. But I do think you need to be patient because that is the going rate, and that is the market for an average to, potentially, superstar quarterback at this point in time. So
yeah,
you drafted him high. It is what it is.
Right. And unfortunately, I believe Darren Waller is on IR as well with a hamstring injury or something like that. So he'll miss at least the next 4 games as well. John says it's panic. It's Daniel Jones. It's always panic with Daniel Jones.
I mean, they overpaid, but at the same time, there is, I don't know if it's after next year, they can get out of that contract. So,
right.
I mean, yeah, they overpaid, but at the same time, they didn't handicap themselves like the Browns did by fully guaranteeing everything. So,
right, yeah. That was
a big hit if they cut him this year. I don't think it's as big of a hit, year 3, year 4 of that deal. So they can get out of it if they want to.
Yeah, and then David says, yes, they did hands down. He's not worth what they're paying him. If Giants were patient, they would have probably gotten a good quarterback in the 2024 draft. Listen, there is, Hoffy, what is the word that I'm looking for? Where, like, if you expect something to happen, like it's going to go the total opposite, right? So, like the periodic or the patriotics, I don't know what I'm looking for here. But basically, if the Giants wouldn't have played Daniel Jones this season, he would have played out of his freaking mind. He would have been on an MVP level, and then they would end up paying him even more because he played at such a high level. And let's say they wanted to move on from Daniel Jones at that point, they would be like a 20th pick in the first round. What good quarterback are you going to get in the 20th round? Mac Jones, right? How is that working out in New England? I'll wait. So
You're going to be waiting a long time.
right. It's like I don't know the word that like or the phrase that I'm looking for. So if like if you guys know what I'm talking about, like a lot of those old school heads, like my dad used to say it like just like all the time, is like basically if you think this season is going to go this way, just because Daniel Jones got hurt, yada yada yada. If we played that back, everything would have happened. Kind of like the butterfly effect, I guess. But John says Saquon is beat up too. Giants need an O-line to give them protection. Yeah, wasn't the Giants the one that gave up like 11 sacks to the Seahawks just a couple weeks ago? Like, yeah, they are. The Giants right now are just not very good.
They should work on, like I said, one receiver, and they need to. Yeah, I mean,
they have
just to go back to they had they could get a quarterback in the 2024 draft.
Darius Slayton that they paid. I believe the Chiefs would be willing to give them Mecole Hardman.
That's not a number one. That's
Mr. Muff Punt himself. David said he's
but,
not.
I mean,
even
you
top
have
20
Caleb Williams
in
is
my
going
league.
number one if he comes out.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
I mean, you have Caleb Williams. He's going number one. Drake May and Michael Penix Jr. out of Washington. They're going to be probably top 5.
Mhm.
So the Giants probably weren't going to finish in the top 5. So now you're left at Shedeur Sanders maybe at like 25. So heck, the Giants could potentially drop back, pick up some capital. Maybe you draft Shedeur Sanders and see what you have with him.
No, this is what they do.
But I don't think that
If I'm a Giants played fan right now, I'm hoping they draft Bo Nix. Nice big white quarterback, sit back in there in the pocket and beat the Patriots twice in the Super Bowl. David says Daniel Jones is not even a top 20 quarterback in the league, in my opinion. I agree. Right now, he is not a top 20 quarterback. Not at all. Spelled CT. I'm not for sure what you're saying, John. Jim says
you're an asshole.
The only thing that bugs me is we put their talent level where they are now. Bradshaw couldn't tie his cleats at first. Like, what do you mean, Jim? Like, in the NFL, you get paid for what you've done, not about what you're going to do. I don't know. Who's going to get Brock Purdy? Cough, cough. Next overreaction on this Overreaction Tuesday here on manhourradio.com, guys. Taylor Heineke. That's right. The man, the myth, the legend. Taylor Heineke will start for the Falcons over Desmond Ridder this week, says Coach Arthur Brown. Guys, is it a panic if I say that Desmond Ridder is done in the NFL after this season? Desmond Ridder, guys, seems to have some type of promise in the NFL. There are times when, he is looking pretty good. There are times when he looks really, 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 really bad. For whatever reason, Desmond Ridder's third-round pick value from Cincinnati is just not adding up to good things, right? This is his second year in the NFL. Last season, he was a backup to Marcus Mariota. This year, it was his team for the first 6-7 weeks. It's just, Desmond Ridder is going to mess around and be like Colt McCoy of the NFL. Did you guys know that Colt McCoy was still in the NFL this season? And the only reason why he's not in the NFL right now is because the Cardinals cut him because they didn't want him to be the starter. Like, Colt McCoy is a great backup quarterback. Any team that has Colt McCoy, if your starter goes down, you're guaranteed 2 wins easy, right? Desmond Ridder is going to be that nice fill-in quarterback when needed. So it is not a panic. We just need to be patient. Desmond Ridder will be in the NFL for a long, long time. He'll be in the NFL as a backup for a long time. We just won't ever hear about him ever again. He would be like a Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's going to be like a Colt McCoy. He is going to be like a Brian Hoyer. Hoffy, you know all about Brian Hoyer, right? He is going to be okay, but he will not be a starter in the NFL. What are your thoughts?
I agree. I mean, he'll be a solid backup. Like you said, Colt McCoy. I'm going to go one step further and bring up a name that, we haven't heard in a while, and he was definitely a higher draft pick, much like McCoy, but the Vikings, Christian Ponder.
Oh,
They thought he was going to be the guy, and he was a backup. So I think that Ritter's going to be a pretty solid backup, but no more than that.
yeah. Unfortunately, guys, I think the Falcons probably should have made a play for Justin Fields at the trade deadline, and they definitely messed up. But it is what it is at the end of the day. Jim says, I hate typing my thoughts. Jim, you know what? Just for you, I will bring back the phone line. Starting tomorrow, guys, at 11 a.m. East Coast time, we will open up the phone lines for everybody out there. I'll post a phone number at the bottom of the screen. You guys can call in. You can talk your shit. You can talk about whatever you want, as long as it's NFL.
There's a text to speech.
Well, listen, he's driving right now. He wants to call in and be like, Hoffy, you are a ginger piece of shit. I hate you. That is what he wants to do. David
No
said,
longer a ginger, I'm bald.
then shave your face. He gives it away. David says, how is my boy Mad Max not in talks of Defensive Player of the Year? They have Adrian from the Lions, Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, and Hunter from the Vikings. Listen, Max Crosby's having a great season. I believe he's second in sacks in the NFL. The issue is he's with the Raiders. That's what it comes down to. Is the issue is he's with the Raiders. The NFL awards are the most. What's the word I'm looking for? It's not really scammy, but like we're going to give it to the best defensive player on the best team, just like the MVP. We're going to give it to the quarterback on the best team. It's just like it is just the way it is, right? Aaron Donald should have won an MVP like 5 years in a row. He was taking people, he was bench pressing them, wrapping them around his head and doing the Lex Luthor thing. You know who Lex Luthor is, Hoffy? From like 1990s wrestling. He do the little shake thing. Aaron Donald was the freaking man. Never got any conversations about MVP because it's the best. It's the quarterback on the best team. Defensive player is going to be the best defensive player probably on the best team. That is why Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, Adrian Hutchinson is getting all those talks. Adrian Hutchinson is not very good. I don't care what people say. Adrian Hutchinson is just not very good. I don't know what the infatuation is with Adrian Hutchinson at all, but for whatever reason, they're like, oh, a white boy from Michigan. Let's root for him. Yay. Like, shut up, man.
Do you know he is 35th? Is that what he is? 35th? Yeah, he's tied for 35th in sacks with 4.5.
With Adrian Hutchinson.
Yeah.
I
mean, you got, and as far as going back to the leaders, Daniel Hunter's got 10. Then you have TJ Watt, Garrett, and Crosby all at 9.5. But Max Crosby has only 59 yards in as far as sacks versus Garrett and Watt having 67 and 63. So he's actually fourth, but tied for second. But he does lead the league in tackles for loss.
You mean like sacks, sack
yards?
I didn't know they counted that. So
yeah.
So if a quarterback runs back like 20 yards and you sack him, you get 20 yards. That's kind of a skewed stat, but whatever. It is what it is. David said, I like him. I love his backstory, Midwest kid, but I see the Falcons making the change again about Desmond Ridder. Yeah, I'm 90 minutes from Cincinnati, so I actually had an opportunity to see him play a couple years ago. back before Cincinnati was like the big Cincinnati. They were still kind of just like low key Cincinnati.
Weren't they the Big East?
No, they were part of the ACC. What's the ACC? I'm pretty sure it was the ACC. The Big East doesn't exist anymore in football, if I remember right. But
Right, but and then a couple years ago when he was there.
I don't remember it, Javi, to be honest with you, because I saw Bailey Zappi play as a Hilltopper. I saw Desmond Ritter play, and then we went up into Ohio State and saw C.J. Stroud play as well, because I had some kids getting recruited to those schools, and it was a lot of fun. But Desmond Ritter just he even in Cincinnati, he just never had that leadership ability. He never had that alpha male, like, this is my team, this is the way shit's run, yada yada yada. He was just kind of just like he was a alpha sheep type of thing. Like, he would just regurgitate what everybody else said. It is what it is. Jim says, hate would imply I have feelings for Hoffy. Hoffy, Jim doesn't hate you. He has no feelings for you. You own his jersey. Why? Because at the time, Jack Campbell jersey was sold out and Adrian Hutchinson jersey was the only one in stock. That's why I got an Adrian Hutchinson jersey.
There's a reason why.
David says, last question before I sign off. Do the Niners fall to 4 straight losses or do they beat the Jaguars? We can't give away content for Friday. We can't give away that content. Tune in Friday to get that question there, David. I guess here in the biz, that's what they call a tease. What they call a tease here in the biz. Tune in Friday. But, yeah, tune in Friday. Tune in Friday. Be more specific. Hoffy, there are 3 words in the world that I cannot say, and this is one of them. Pacific, like the ocean.
Yeah, but you have to add an S in front of it.
Yeah.
Pacific.
Yeah, I can't say that. Hoffy, I don't even know where I'm at on the timeline. We've just been kind of doing things. Oh, I got nothing. Do you want to do what the funk is going on?
What the fuck's going on?
No,
yeah.
No, we can't say that. No, actually, guys, I'm going to introduce a new segment today. The new segment is called Finish the Sentence. It is very simple. I posted it on our Facebook page, and I want you guys to go down into the comments here and give me a sentence. Give me a sentence that's NFL related, and we will finish the sentence for you. So it is called Finish the Sentence, and we will finish the sentence for you. So with that being said, in the comments on our Facebook page, Jim says this. Hoffy, let's flashback to the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. He says, the missed pass interference call on Schoonamaker, and then ... So finish that sentence, Hoffy. Let me go first, since you look confused there of who a Schoonamaker is.
I'm not confused. I'm just...
Schoonamaker is that tight end for the Dallas Cowboys that got short, got about 4 inches short of the goal line in the Eagles game, right? If basically people are saying that it was a pass interference on the Eagles linebacker because he had his arm wrapped around him and he reached around and tackled him before the play was caught. With that being said, if the pass interference call was called on Schoonamaker, then how can I be most unbiased about this without being biased? Listen, it was a very, very good defensive coverage. I don't know who that linebacker was, but that is how we teach our kids how to cover. Have the guy, when you're going in to swat the ball, you wrap your arm around the guy, you swat the ball. So as you're swatting, you start to turn him, right? You keep him close to your body, And so you're pulling him away from the ball as you are getting closer. That is what we teach. That is coverage 101 on linebackers, on safeties, on corners. That is coverage 101. That is excellent coverage. There was no pass interference call. The reason is because he had great technique. Now, if that was called pass interference, there would have been Eagle fans up in arms. Up in arms. They would have been so freaking pissed off because how is that pass interference? Yada, yada, yada. I mean, technically, in a roundabout way, it is pass interference, but it's not. It is great coverage. So as a defensive player, I'm seeing great coverage. Great coverage, great coverage, great coverage. The missed pass interference call on Schoonamaker was a correct call. That's how I'll finish the sentence. It was a correct call. It was a correct call, and I am glad they did not call it. Let the kids play. Let the kids play. Hoffy, I'm going to bring you on. And you asked a question. What would happen if the NFL went to all turf fields? Let me ask you that question. My voice is going downhill fast, buddy.
You're asking me that question?
I'm asking you that question.
I think that, I mean, believe it or not, turf fields are a little bit softer. However, year over year, we've seen that the concussions have raised up. And actually most concussions have happened on turf fields rather than grass fields. So a lot of people complain about the knee injuries and non-contact injuries, but of the 20 significant leg injuries this year, 12 of them have been on turf. You got Diggs was a big one. He was on grass. I think the most gruesome one this year was probably Chubb. His was actually on grass. So I'm going to say that we would still see the same NFL product as far as injuries would be about the same, and concussions would be about the same if they went with all turf field. I don't think it would make much of it, or excuse me, if they went all grass. So I don't think that going all grass would make a difference, because at that point, then you have teams like New England, Kansas City, all these climates where it gets cold. It's going to be a lot harder to maintain that grass. It's going to be loose. In fact, the Tennessee Titans switched from grass to turf because it was so hard to upkeep that grass,
Right.
and they were experiencing more injuries. So there's been more injuries on the grass with Tennessee Titans, grass compared to the turf. So I don't think that we would see any change in the NFL injury product if we went to all grass.
All right, guys, that's going to be it for today. My voice is getting a little crackly. Jim, I seen your comment here. I am going to go to the film. I'm going to try to record that play, and we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Actually, we'll try to talk about it on the after show. Javi, if you're up for after show tonight, you want to try to do an after show? Do a little
Absolutely.
power ranking show tonight?
For sure.
For sure. Sit us out, big guy.
Man, our nation, rise up.